episode 97 of the Gridiron Podcast, the only podcast in the world that combines all the grit of Formula One and all the iron of American football. If you're new here to this podcast, if you couldn't tell already, that's what we talk about here on the Gridiron Podcast. Formula One and football. Why? Because that's our two loves here. I'm Sean Barry. As always, joining me, our bald behemoth, our resident NFL.com talent writer, holding down the fort in the land, flexing on the haters, wearing his calves cut off. It's Nick Shook.
Oh, that's very guttural. And fucking with his camera because he's trying to change everything again. One arm, two arms. I'm going insane. How are you guys?
Nick's having a wonderful day.
Nick's having a time. He's going so insane that he's already lost all of his hair. We're not even a minute into this. We're 54 seconds into this podcast, and I already got a bald joke in there. Love it. And then, of course, also joining us, as always, is our Canadian queen, Katie Caldwell.
Hi, friends. I've missed you guys.
It's been
both
a minute
you guys
since we've
and our
recorded, yeah.
listeners. It's been a moment, so I'm very glad to be back with you guys today.
What was our last podcast? I think it was like Super Bowl.
I think it was right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right after the Super Bowl. We've taken a couple of weeks off. Our schedules just haven't lined up. We've been waiting for the new F1 season to start, and it did this last weekend in Melbourne, Australia. So that is where we are going to start this episode of the Gridiron Podcast. And then later on, we'll switch gears and talk a little NFL free agency because the tampering period, Nick, it be tampering.
And it definitely wasn't tampering before the period.
No.
There was no tampering.
There was no tampering before noon on Monday.
My
March.
brain is tampered.
And everything has gone off without a hitch.
March 9th.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nobody got cold feet.
No
and
controversy,
decided-
no
No.
chaos,
Call off
no.
the wedding.
No one called off the wedding at the 11th hour, not at all. We'll get into all of that a little later on. But first, we're in first gear here. We are talking about the Australian Grand Prix, the season preview, not preview, season debut, season premiere? Yeah, I'm just going to go with season premiere of the 2026 Formula One season. And guys, man, was that something? Was that something?
We're in first
These-
gear because we now have to downshift on the straights, which is
Oh
just
my
great
God.
for everyone.
If you're not a fan of Formula One and you're just finding out about this for the first time, Formula One debuted new regulations this year. They have slightly, I mean like ever so slightly smaller cars that have a bunch of fancy new gadgets on them, like
Katie, would you like to talk about the size
Active
of those
Aero.
cars?
Not one bit.
No?
You know what, Katie? As I was watching qualifying, I did think back to what you said about the I'm not going to say it this time, but the size of these cars. And you're right. Nick, I think you said it, the front wing.
It's the wing.
The wing makes it look a little like stubby.
The
It's
end
definitely
plates.
the
The
wing.
end plates are narrower, so it makes it
Yeah.
look smaller. Yeah.
It's definitely the wing. Definitely the wing. But your thoughts on the size of these new cars, Katie, are not unwarranted. But these new cars, bunch of fancy new gadgets, and one of those new gadgets is a battery where they get half of their power from. And the only way to recharge these batteries is to coast and use that kinetic energy to recharge the batteries and by braking. So whilst these cars are qualifying, which is supposed to be the pinnacle of just like on the edge, they are pushing these cars to their absolute limit to get everything out of them to set the qualifying order. They're downshifting on the straights.
Very
Never
cool.
in my motorsport watching life have I ever seen a car, be it Formula One, Indy, or NAS, downshift on any kind of straight. What are we doing?
Or NAS.
NAS. I like how he's shortened NASCAR, which is already an acronym to NAS. One more letter and he's going to space. What do you know?
I felt, I don't know. I felt kind of cheated as a motorsports fan. I felt like you're giving me a pile of crap and telling me yeah.
But the overtakes, Sean. There were
But
so
the
many
overtakes.
overtakes.
Won't
There were
someone
so
think of
many
the overtakes?
Won't someone think of the overtakes? Yes, well said, Katie. In the end, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, 1-2 for Mercedes in the Australian Grand Prix.
Okay, Zach Brown.
Sorry.
The Grand Prix.
Wow,
had-
what a McLaren guy.
We had an IndyCar preview show down here in St. Pete for the IndyCar season debut, and I had to say Grand Prix because I work at Fox 13 here in Tampa, and I Americanized my pronunciation of
Why?
Grand Prix to Grand Prix.
Why?
Did you
Because
legally have
everyone
to?
else was saying Grand Prix, and I was like,
That
I
sounds
got
like
made.
that sounds like willful assimilation.
I
more
got
than
made
anything.
fun of last year because I was the only one saying Grand
Some might
Prix.
even say capitulation.
It's very much
Ooh.
like, oh, welcome to the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Oh,
Yeah, be classy. Class up the joint, Sean. God, you already got your hair coiffed. You might as well.
Welcome to the Grand Prix. House.
Welcome to the Grand Prix of Australia.
Welcome
No.
to the Gridiron Podcast.
Okay, now that is fine to say because I'm from Pittsburgh, so it's the Gridiron Podcast. Yeah, so George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Charles Leclerc, 1, 2, 3 in the Grand Prix of Australia. Mercedes, that car, man, is just head and shoulders above everyone else so far because of their engine. We'll get into that also in a second, but yes, Katie, you're right. The overtakes at the beginning of the race, we had 4 cars battling it out for the lead. 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris. Man, those Ferraris were quick off the line, but it all seemed kind of hollow, I guess is the word, the adjective I want to use. It seemed manufactured. Like,
Yep.
I knew what I was watching wasn't real because every time George passed Charles or Charles passed George, you knew that in the next couple of corners on the next lap, they were about to swap back places because the only reason that car passed was because they had energy in their battery, and the only reason the car got passed was because they didn't have energy in their battery. It seems so hollow.
I've heard the word hollow and artificial and manufactured a lot throughout the entire weekend. Even from the drivers, I heard artificial. I don't have a lot of use for manufactured chaos. I'd rather
Yeah.
watch good, hard racing. I don't really find as much excitement in manufactured chaos because you would see the overtake and it's like, oh, yay, it's because he had to gear down. Like it just, it didn't feel like it was because one driver and one car was so much stronger. It just felt like because all of the cars are a bit of a mess right now that there was a bunch of chaos, but it wasn't to me because that driver was so much more dominant or that much better. I just don't feel very excited when I watch it. Like did you guys see the graphic of the pole lap from last year compared to this one? And
No,
just showing
I
the
did not.
difference
It's
in
like
the
3
cars.
seconds slower this year.
Yeah, and I just felt like when I was watching it from quali into the race, you could just see it where I'm like, you guys should be going faster in this moment right now. Like I'm just so
Yes.
used to how the regs were before. And I don't want to be a contrarian just to be a contrarian, but when I watch it, I feel a lot of things that Max is saying where he just sounds really deflated. And when I watch him, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Max had warned about these things being an issue 2 years ago. Max and Red Bull had gone out and said, like, you're going to see guys downshifting on the straights. And that's exactly what we got. What's funny is that, like, at first glance, you kind of can't tell. Like, that first lap was electric, right?
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
people, like, overtaking each other. It was electric. I was like, this is going to be a good race. But then as the race goes on, you realize the changes have not only made the sport unpredictable in not the best way, I wouldn't say the worst way, but somewhere in between, but it's also neutered the racing. It has taken away the balls of the racing, the real who's going to be the bravest and break last into the turn to go for the gutsy
Right.
overtake. It was like you said,
yeah.
manufactured overtakes.
You don't have to try and, pass on the outside anymore or dive down the inside of someone else. You just got to wait for their battery to run out and pass them.
Which, like, strategy is involved as a driver. It's just not the traditional driving where you're like going flat out through certain areas and really trying to hit the best line, gain the time. It's like it's a completely different way. It's like playing small ball in baseball as opposed to like swinging for the fences, right? Like it's still a way to win, and some people appreciate it more than others. But you have to manufacture runs. It's kind of the same thing, and I think that's not going to sit well with people. But I also think that. Like I was watching a video today on YouTube talking about how they're going to consider changes after China. But until then, they all are like, let's not make a rush decision and maybe mess it up even more. Which
And I think that's actually really interesting, Nick, just because we're one race into these new regulations, and they said, hey, after 2 races, we're going to reevaluate this. After 2 of scheduled 24 races, probably won't get to all
No.
24, but for various reasons, but
Well, Sean, what happened?
I'm hearing this for the first time.
I'm telling you this for the first time.
But
I feel
yeah,
like Sean. I feel like we should explain like the specifics of this though to those like who are to the untrained eye, to the average
Sure.
fan, to the new F1 fan. What is different about this year, and why are people so upset about it?
So we kind of talked about this on the last podcast too, or whenever we were talking about not just qualifying, but when we were talking about testing and the shakedown in Barcelona. What's different about these cars is, like I mentioned earlier, they have a different battery where they get half of their power from that. That battery drains every lap, and you have to recharge it. But that was always kind of part of the problem. They've had batteries in these cars for the last decade plus. The difference is now you have different ways of overtaking. So in the last, how long did DRS? How long did we have DRS in Formula One? I don't know the
I
exact
think
number.
was it like a decade?
Yeah,
think it was a
we had
decade.
DRS for a decade, which stands for drag reduction system. And what this would do is whenever you were within 1 second of a car you were trying to pass, and you passed a detection zone, okay, you would get DRS enabled
Oh,
for
wow.
you on a straight. What?
2011 to 2025.
Okay, so over a decade.
Oh,
That's
wow.
our whole post college. Oh, that's actually that includes
That's-
our college lives.
It
Wow.
includes college, yes. RIP DRS. So anyway, what this would do is you would be able to activate DRS. Your rear wing would open, giving you an extra, what is it, like 20 kilometers per hour, and you'd be able to pass.
Because of less drag, yeah.
Exactly. Pass whoever was in front of you on the straights sometimes. But it got tricky there at the end of DRS's life, because what we would have were DRS trains, where you had a bunch of cars stacked together and everyone had DRS. So no one was passing each other, and we're like, hey, this isn't working anymore. So F1's like, you're right, let's change this. So now we have active aero, which you can use it at any point on a straight. You don't need a detection zone or anything like that, and that lowers not just the front wing, but opens the rear wing as well. Or if you're Ferrari, it spins your rear wing, which they are bringing the Macarena wing, as they're calling it, to China.
I like a bullet in a Macarena.
I'm a Ferrari with a rear wing that rotates.
In a Macarena.
Hey,
Hey,
Macarena,
Macarena.
rotate. But you also have boost and you
Katie's
also
like,
have
I'm not getting
overtake
involved.
this year.
No, Nick nailed the lyrics perfectly. There was no need for me to jump in.
So you also have boost and overtake this year. Boost you can apply at any point throughout the lap, but again, it drains your battery. Overtake is, again, you got to pass a detection zone. You got to be within 1 second of a car, and then it is given to you on your steering wheel, like your steering wheel lights up. Like a video game, and you're like, overtake, I can hit that. But both of these things, and all three of these things, drain your battery quickly. So again, battery preservation is now the name of the game, which is why when we're watching qualifying, which again has been some of the most exciting, hours of Formula One over the past couple of years, because these cars are designed to corner so hard and go so fast down these straights that you don't know how these drivers are actually pulling this off. Now we hear and see cars downshifting while on straights, which is horrible. Like, I'm going to hear that sound in my nightmare, hear joo, 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 while a car is still on a straight and not reached the corner yet. We've lost Nick.
We did lose Nick. So
Now
great.
it's just-
now it's just
oh, whoa.
Sean and I.
Whoa,
We've never done a pod with just the two of us. Wow.
don't think you've
Is
ever
this
been
the
around-
part of the show where we talk shit about Nick while he's
Oh
gone?
my God, yeah. His bald head, I can't even believe it. Oh my God, Nick's back. Oh, jeez.
I don't know what happened. I've had a weird, sorry, not to completely derail the show, but I've had a weird technical week. I was on the radio the other day and I was on my AirPods, and all of a sudden I heard computer sounds in my ears, and then I looked down at my phone and I could tell I wasn't connected to my AirPods anymore, and so I just missed the second half of my response and completely lost my train of thought. So I don't know what the hell's going. It's a crazy week.
We're all
It's
doing our
free
best.
agency frenzy, and my computer's going insane. Anyways.
Anyway,
They're-
Sean, continue.
They're there. I don't even know where I was at this point. Anyway, that's a very long explanation of why we're seeing these problems this year. Trying to manage your battery is the name of the game right now, and it's made for some really bad scenes in Formula One. And if I could just read again, the person that has been the most pissy about this has been Max Verstappen. He has been championing getting rid of these regulations already, basically. And a lot of the drivers have been like, yeah, they're not great, but like all things, it's going to take some time to get used to. Lando Norris, current, defending world champion, basically said, well, Max doesn't have to race. Like, he can go retire if he wants. And then Lando, who beat Max.
You would like that, wouldn't you, Lando?
Yeah, you would like that, wouldn't you, Lando? Then Lando, who beat Max in the Australian Grand Prix. Come on, I'm gonna
There we go.
slap
There we
myself
go.
every time.
Back in the game.
Yes.
Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
Lando has now changed his tune after
Ugh.
just one race weekend. He said after the session, "It sucks, but you have to live with it and just maximize what you get given."
We don't
It's
have to
certainly
live this
different.
way.
It's certainly not like it was last year. He also said, "We've come from the best cars ever made in Formula One." I mean, debatable, but you did win a world championship in one of those cars.
Biggest
so
cars.
I get why you're saying that.
Yeah.
We've come from the best cars ever made in Formula One and the nicest to drive to probably the worst. So Lando, who was saying, well, if Max doesn't like it, he can just go retire. One race weekend in.
Classic.
Yeah, these suck. Lando's like, I see what you were putting down, Max. I'm picking up what you were putting down.
I don't know what we do though. Like how do you fix this? I saw some possibilities like increasing fuel, like power from the engine. It could be a solution. I think changing the way the battery is deployed so that you have more battery over the race, but you can use less per lap or something like that. Like there was a number of different potential fixes, but they feel like small potatoes fixes to a larger issue, and that this is the world that we now live in. And the clipping thing, like increasing the rate of clipping, which is when you run the MGKU backward while driving, which I don't even understand how that works. That's above my pay grade. I'm not good at math or science, and this is where my weaknesses show.
He's good at NFL.
I good at football. I like football. I hit pad hard. I don't know what to do here with this. I truly don't know what to do with this.
I guess one of my fundamental issues with all of this, because it's changed just the scope of the sport so much, is, and I'm someone, I would consider myself an environmentalist. Like I'm a very progressive person. I think it's important to move towards clean energy. And I just feel like in F1 specifically, are the cars the actual problem? Because I think about every single race where there's going to be 300 private jets flying there.
Yeah,
and I
am
think
I
about
the problem? Am I the problem?
and that's what it feels like.
It's me.
It's changed the entire sport so much, and I feel like I love everything moving towards net zero, and I think it's good for our world to implore these different types of goals and priorities. But I don't know if the actual cars are the big issue relative to what F1 is, and they're the traveling circus that moves all over the world, and
At some point, I
there's
just
so
wanna
much
see
about
some-
money in that,
Yeah.
as so many big businesses are. There's so much about money, and it just feels so funny that the sport has been so fundamentally changed, when I don't think that's going to move the needle and save the world. That's how I look at it. I'm all for these goals, but when I look at F1 as a sport specifically, I'm like, look at every single other thing you're doing with moving this all around the world, and not aligning the calendar well, so you're doing less travel. It feels like there's a lot of, I guess, just a lot of contradiction.
Contradiction,
If
yeah.
that is their goal, and it's changed the sport so much, but just look how much carbon they're putting out into the world every
Yeah.
single other way.
Well,
Just with all the private jets, everything. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that bothers me the most about it.
I think it points to the old fallacy of if every home recycles, we can save the planet. When really, it's if every corporation actually did what they were supposed to and were environmentally friendly, it would make a much larger dent in the whole global climate issue than you recycling your milk jug. But yet, that's where we are. Let's make the cars hybrids because we want to seem energy forward.
We just need
and
to
I'm-
use a
but-
few more paper straws, and the world will be saved, you guys.
Yes, that paper straw can melt in your
Straws,
coffee.
I hate paper straws. They get all
The liberal
soggy,
just
and then you
leaving
can
my
taste the
body when I'm-
paper. It's the
when I'm
worst.
using a paper straw.
To hell with
Yes.
the turtles.
Don't you bring the turtles into this.
But I'm also in favor. It's not just being environmentally friendly, but seeing new technology kind of being invented by
Of course.
this sport is equal parts athleticism as it is science. This is a very nerdy sport when you really get down to it, and that's one of the cool things about Formula One. But again, at some point, I just want to see some hot, nasty, badass speed, man. Come on.
We were all thinking it.
All right, Eleanor. Jeez. Slow down there.
And it's gotten to the point too where other people are noticing and kind of trying to draw in fans that maybe F1 is kind of spurning a little bit, including IndyCar here in the States, which is
Here we go.
No, dude, Chip Ganassi Racing on March 7th, they're on their official Twitter account, used super clipping, downshifting on straights, battery management. Yeah, we don't do that here. We race. And everyone's like, yo, IndyCar's taking shots at Formula One. I mean, of course, IndyCar's never going to rise to that level, but like other
This is the time to take shots.
formulas
Yeah.
are starting to clown them because, like, again, when you are a motorsport fan, when you watch several different series, when you hear downshifting on straights, you're going to look at this and going, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Now, Formula One is defending all this by saying, well, last year there were only 45 overtakes in Australia. This year, actually, there were 120 overtakes. Overtakes everywhere you look, or action everywhere you look, was the graphic that they created and put out on social media. And then when so many countless fans were like, actually?
Oh,
Everyone started censoring them. They didn't want to hear it.
Yep.
They started censoring their own fans on social media. When you have to do that,
Yep.
you know people don't like what they're being sold.
Yeah, it's not a good look. I was trying to unpack the discourse following the race because I was like, oh, I was entertained. And then I was like, well, I know where I can't go for information, which is F1. Can't go to F1.com. Can't find any breakdowns on F1 TV. Gotta go to outside sources for true discourse and
Reddit.
criticism.
The true town hall of the people.
Obviously, the last bastion of internet freedom. Reddit.
The one thing that does kind of give me a little bit of hope is on Beyond the Grid last week, F1 of F1's podcast, Carlos Sainz said, he hopes that the FIA and Formula One keep an open mind when it comes to making changes with these regulations. Like, we can always change things. Let's not stick our feet in the mud and just be stubborn about this. If something's not working, let's change it. So there is still time to do that. Again, this is the very first race we've ever seen with these regulations. And if we could we talk about the race just a little bit?
I was gonna say, about that race, Sean.
I do just want to make one quick note, just on the hiding of comments before we do move on from that, because fans have a right to be annoyed by all of this, and it does feel very like they're just putting their head in their sand and what's in the sand. But what's funny about this to me is it's almost giving a bit of Streisand effect, where we're talking about it a lot more because they're actively going out of their way to hide it.
It's usually how
And
it
then
works.
that's becoming like viral memes of being like, look at all these hidden comments by the official F1 account. Like, I do feel like because they are going out of their way to hide all of these, like, fans do have a right to be annoyed. And I think we're living in a time where everybody's a little bit frustrated about the suppression of information.
So many parallels that we could unpack here. So many connections to be made. It could be a super highway of connections. You're right.
There were so many off ramps I wanted to take, and I'm like, nope, stay on the highway, Sean. Stay on the highway.
Stay on
Thank you
the
for
toll
staying
road.
on
Stay on the cut box.
But yeah, I do see a bit of a Streisand effect situation here, which is really interesting to me because I think we're talking about them hiding it a lot more because they are doing that, which I just love. I love burying F1. I love burying the FIA.
Question for
when
you,
they
Katie.
deserve it.
In the pantheon of effects, where and how closely does the Streisand effect relate to the Mandela effect?
Oh, I gotta dig deep into. I studied
And
all
where
this
does
stuff
the
in school the
Pythagorean
first time. I
theorem
need to
fit
dig
in?
deep back into my textbooks.
We don't do math here, Sean. We don't do math.
Sorry, my bad. So about that race, Mercedes confirmed to be sandbagging, by the way. Everyone in testing and in the shakedown is like, all right, who's sandbagging? Nick, you're like, I think McLaren is sandbagging. They were not.
They were not.
They were
Especially
not.
not Oscar Piastri.
They were definitely not.
He was sandbagging his ability to shift or
Mercedes
something. I don't know.
probably sandbagging a little bit. They 100% were sandbagging because they have a certified rocket ship. That little shot of when George and Kimi go 1-2 in qualifying.
The
of
smirk.
Toto in the garage just
He
looks
just
at
looks
the
at him and
camera,
goes,
smiles. I'm like, as the face of a man who knew all along he was sitting on a rocket.
Anyone who has watched F1 before the Only Max era just shuddered when they saw his face do
Like,
that because they're like, we
crap.
know what
They're
this
back.
means.
Oh,
They're back.
God, here comes
Let's
Darth
go
Vader.
1-2 in every single race.
Darth Vader has returned.
By the
And
way,
his
one more
smile
thing.
said that.
One more thing that really, really annoyed me, because remember when during testing we were going to have all these problems with the start, cars weren't going to be able to get off the line, so they're like, actually, we're going to give you 5 extra seconds to rev your engine. Those 5 seconds were the most annoying 5 seconds of my life. When the cars pull up to the box, the blue lights come on, and a sign says, pre-start. And I'm like, what? And you just hear 22 cars go, I'm like, how long is this going to last? Oh my God, they're still going.
It's like a car alarm.
Oh my God, that's horrible. And then the 5 lights go out.
Did you guys see the 5th light go out
Oh,
really
yes,
quick?
real fast. Because
All the other
guy,
ones are timed so evenly, and then it
Yeah.
felt like it was going to stay in. Charles Leclerc actually said something about it, and it
was-
felt like it was going to stay on that same time in between, and the light went on and went out right away, and
Yeah.
I was taken aback as a viewer. I can't imagine being a driver.
because the person in charge of the button was like, enough of this crap, go.
Let's get this shit over with.
You know, I wonder. I would love to ask somebody: is that like predetermined? Like, do they just set a randomized time and then they just press a button that starts a sequence?
I don't
No,
know.
there's a dude that
there's a dude
does
that
it, and he travels to, and I saw a feature on it. He goes to every single race, and so I was sitting there being like, I know this is you. I know
Yes.
you did
Okay, okay, all right. Next question: how many buttons is he working with here? Is there a start and then a
that. One.
what?
So there's a button that lights up the first 4, and then the 5th, and then when he pushes the last button, that's when. So
And
the
it's all
light-
the same button?
Yeah. So
And it's all the
5
same
lights-
guy. It happened. I
the-
remember this happening one time last season too.
So the 5 lights go on in sequential order, but then it's his job to press the button to turn off the 5th light. So after the pre-race ignition and then the 5 lights turning on, he's like, enough of this shit, and just presses go.
This man has too much power.
Entirely too much.
He has
Well-
the nuclear launch codes.
Well, this is the same as
little
any
too
kind
topical
of
for the-
track and field starter, swimming starter.
Nick, I don't even know what you're insinuating right now, but this is
Yeah, he has the nuclear F1 football.
yes,
Boom.
that's right. Boom.
Yes.
Kaboom.
So I was just annoyed with the pre-race sequence and all that stuff. But after the cars go off, a lot of people said, "Hey, Ferrari has a secret weapon where they can get off the line faster than
Their
anyone else."
start
And
looks so
my
good.
God, could they? Because Charles passed George within 1 or 2 corners, and then for the next like 5 or 6 laps, I forget how long we were racing. You know, yeah, Nick, you were right. I was entertained because George and Charles kept passing back and forth. Kimi kind of fell back, so it looked like you had 2 Ferraris attacking 1 Mercedes, and we were going to get a good race. And we kind of were until that old mistress, reliability, reared her ugly head, because we knew this was going to happen, right? New engines, new formula, reliability was going to be an issue. And that's what happened, where cars just started dropping like flies. And then Katie, as a Lewis fan, Ferrari fan by proxy, what happened to Ferrari, pray tell? How did Ferrari wind up just losing that race so epically?
We are checking.
We are checking. Well, Sean, it's called Death, Taxes, and Ferrari fucking up their strategy. We went right back to our roots.
By the way, it feels so good that we're not talking about McLaren fucking up a strategy. Pardon me, my friend. Felt so good. We were nowhere in the race,
John,
but hey,
there's
we
time.
didn't mess up strategy.
There's time throughout the season. You are not out of that conversation yet. It's been exactly 1 race, and one of your drivers didn't even make it to the formation line.
Oh, I'd love to unpack that too.
Yeah, I too would love to unpack. Speaking of which, can we talk about any excuse for me to dunk on Zach Brown? I will take it. Did you guys hear him interviewed after Oscar didn't even make the race?
No.
He goes,
not.
he hopped out of the car pretty quickly, so he's not giving us any feedback. I haven't spoken to him. And this was about an hour after the race, and I was sitting there being like, what do you mean you haven't spoken to your driver? I don't think they fuck with Zach Brown. That's my low-stakes conspiracy theory.
Hello,
But-
did you watch their sit down on Drive to Survive when it was just him and Oscar chatting? And he's like, so, you know, like, you can't tell me that, like, on the next lap, you weren't like 10 more points in the bag for me after Lando crashed, like, in Montreal. Like, 10 more points in the bag for me. And Oscar's just very uncomfortably through like gritted teeth being like, after I knew he was okay and that it wasn't my fault, sure. Like, they know he's a freaking cornball loser.
And then Zach has the audacity on DTS to go, yeah, I think I got a pretty good idea of when to talk to the drivers and when not to. I'm like, do you? Are you sure
go.
about that, brother? Because I have a
But-
sneaking
and they're like-
suspicion that they wouldn't agree with you.
Are you going to pick a driver? He's like, nah, I'm not going to answer that. Here's pictures of me back when I drove and I had these big glass. I was just like, oh, this just confirms how much of a goober he is.
You were giving Haas crap because we usually get one Haas episode, which we did
Haas.
not.
Haas,
Haas.
Grand
Haas
Prix,
crap the Grand
Haas.
Prix.
What do you live in Cleveland? God,
Yes.
flashes.
Go flashes, you know.
You want a
I'm-
cappy of your receipt?
I lay my head down on a pillow at night and I put milk
Drink
in my
milk.
cereal
Milk.
and I eat salads. Gotta check my
Salads.
calendar.
calendar.
We didn't get a Haas episode this year, Nick, but we got way more Zach Brown than we needed. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Well,
Any
thanks for
Zach
ruining for
Brown
me.
is more
I
Zach Brown than I
still
need.
had 3 episodes to go, but thanks. Never mind.
Yes.
Guess I'll skip those.
So during was it the safety car caused by Isaac
Isaac?
Hadjar's? Yeah, was it because there were a lot of virtual safety
Well,
cars?
hold on,
a
hold
lot
on.
of-
Yeah, because it was that safety car, right? It was
Okay.
the yeah,
Isaac
okay,
was when they
continue.
didn't split the Ferraris. in
Correct.
Maybe
Yes.
Sheriff.
Yes.
Yes,
And Lewis
exactly.
got on
They
the radio
should've-
and was like, "One of us should be going in, right?"
We are checking.
And then
We are checking.
all of us watching at home are being like, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. And
Yeah.
then Ferrari comes back with, we are checking. Let's go with plan
Ferrari's
Q.
back, baby. Ferrari's back. The
Plan Q.
clown-haired, prancing ponies. Oh, they are back.
Are we
They are
so back?
absolutely So back, because they could have been in this race. They really could have been.
That felt
but-
good to go back to those roots, though.
I know. It's like, oh, wow, we really are back in 2017 again. It's all coming back.
And then 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
2024.
exactly. I would say if we're looking at after this one race, just in terms of just flat out pace, Mercedes head and shoulders above everybody else. Then you've got Ferrari, then Red Bull. That car does have some speed, and then McLaren. I'm not that worried about McLaren as a McLaren fan as maybe I should be, but you have Andrea Stella this week saying, yeah, Mercedes didn't give us all the information on this engine. They are withholding information from us.
Yes, my
Specifically.
chaos scenario that I've long held onto as a dream, something that might happen in the incestuous world of Formula One, in which some teams produce engines and then sell some to other teams. It's finally coming to fruition. They are sabotaging a customer. Yes.
Which
The final
you know-
jigsaw piece to the puzzle of chaos has arrived.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Like, Andrea Stella was literally like, we did not have all the information about this engine until we got to testing. And then we're like, okay, this is what we have. Like, Mercedes was not sharing information with us, which I can't imagine why
Is
the
ethical? No,
FIA
it's
and F1, like, obviously, if you have teams that produce engines and then sell them to their own competitors, surely there must be checks and balances in place.
Can we
to
get an
make
owner's
sure,
manual, dog?
Like, surely there must be rules in place that say you can't sabotage teams that are paying you for your engines, but I guess not.
I
No,
hope
they
not.
didn't. They didn't pay. See, here's the thing: in this subscription-driven world,
Checks
shout out
bounce,
to you,
man, checks
shout out to you, Riverside, what we're using right now. You also charge me a subscription for this show. In this subscription-based world in which we operate, they didn't upgrade to the premium tier. They just started with the base level. They didn't get the extra features that Mercedes had in-house because it's proprietary information. This is all just a conspiracy theory, but I love it.
Great.
So there's room for improvement at McLaren, clearly. But
Can
yeah,
we talk
right now,
about Williams?
yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Ugh. So, Sean,
Jimmy
were you
V,
done
what are you
with
doing,
done with McLaren, or did you have another McLaren point, or can we talk about?
No, that's just it. I mean, those are the pecking orders of the top 4 teams that I see right now. But obviously, it's just the first race of the season.
Williams, for a
Williams,
team
man.
that at the end of last year started going like, guys, we kind of just got to write off the season. We have been so focused on 2026 for long enough that I'm sitting here being like, yeah,
fooled
Williams
me.
has got to be one of the big teams for 2026. They look terrible.
Look
Oh my God. And like, poor, poor Daddy
Well, when they-
James Vowles.
when they
Just
didn't
don't
show
even
up-
show me him on the broadcast. He looks so sad.
Well, when they didn't show up to
Still
the
a
shakedown
daddy,
in
though.
Barcelona because
I know,
they
that's
were
right.
grossly overweight, they couldn't pass the safety test. Like, oh, this is not good. And then they show up in Bahrain, and it's just like, okay, this is not going well. They have definitely slid backwards.
Big time.
I have no further comment because it makes me sad, and I want them to do well.
I know.
I know,
wanted
me
Williams
too.
to be up there.
I hate
For-
it for
for-
Alex. I hate it for Carlos. I hate it for everyone involved. And
I hate it. I hate it for Buccaneers reporter River Wells, noted Williams fan.
yeah.
Yes.
Recall. Masterclass.
You know what? I'm off tomorrow, so they're having press conferences for the free agent signings down here in Tampa. Definitely not for the one they lost.
Why, Sean? What
The ones they
happened?
signed.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that
That's a tease.
a little later on. But I was like, I was gonna go up to River and be like, hey man, because he always wears a Williams shirt. I'm like, hey man, sorry, I'm sorry. I can
Yeah.
live with McLaren coming in 4th and 5th. I can live with that, but
I have a question for
Williams,
River.
sorry, man.
I'm sure he doesn't listen to the show, but you can ask him this next time, even though I've never met him. Did he choose Williams because his last name is Wells and they wear a W as their logo?
I don't know. I'll ask him next time I see him.
It's worth an ask.
When do we have mini camps?
Food for
Do
thought.
we have OTAs? I don't know. I'll ask him.
I don't know. I don't want to think
The
about
draft. With the draft. I'll ask him before the
that.
draft.
I don't want
next
to think
time
about
I
that
see
either.
him. But yes, Williams slid back. Aston Martin, as advertised,
Put the ass in Aston Martin.
could not finish the race. Except, no, Lance Stroll did finish the race. 15 laps down.
Yeah.
I'm watching the race and I go, wait a minute. I look at the scoreboard on the side. I'm like, how is Lance still in the race?
The
It says
scoreboard.
it's plus 15 laps. The scoreboard, the timing, whatever the hell you want to call it. The
15
graphic.
laps down. Fernando Alonso had to
Unbelievable.
retire after 25 laps. And
Fernando was 15.
Yeah, Alex Jakes. No, I thought it was 25.
Nope, 15.
15
Planned
laps.
Because they were
Retirement.
like, they were hoping for 25, but then 50. So then they said it on the broadcast. They're like, yep, right on lap 15.
Yeah,
There it is.
Alex
Can
Jakes
you
in the
imagine
F1
going into
broadcast.
a race and being like, yeah, you're going to run half of it and then we're just going to retire you. So
And
have
then
fun.
Katie,
due
why,
to
why
the
did
permanent
Aston
nerve
Martin-
damage,
Yes, please explain. Why did Aston Martin have to retire a car after 15 laps?
they truly have had one of the most chaotic lead ups to a season I've ever seen, where all the news coming out of their camp was, yeah, we can only do a max of 50 to 25 laps because then the drivers start to get permanent nerve damage. I'm like, not the permanent nerve damage. like at least have it come back. but
We moved right from
like,
temporary to permanent. What the hell?
but like, what are we doing? If you are Adrian Newey, you have got to be sitting there reevaluating every single choice you've ever made in this God-given life because you're looking at Red Bull do what they do, and you're like, I'm so embroiled in this fuck-ass team, and we can't even go over 15 laps without nerve damage to our drivers.
I also
Like,
want to know what nerves. Like, let's pull up a
The nervous
anatomical
system.
chart.
I have a theory.
Is it,
because
is, it,
remember,
is it the hot nerve on social media, the Vegas nerve, however you say it, the one that supposedly regulates your well-being mentally? Is it that one? Is it sciatica? Are we giving Fernando Alonso some overdue sciatica?
have you guys ever
I
had
wanna-
sciatica? It is the worst.
I do have a theory. You
Oh,
remember
correct,
when
correct.
Lance Stroll got into that mountain biking accident and like broke his wrists and stuff?
Both,
Got
which is
surgery
crazy.
and then like came back, drove the car, points finish, I think, and we're like, yo, that dog, Lance Stroll's got that dog in him. Turns out to be a puppy dog.
For exactly one race. Yeah,
For
that dog.
exactly one race. I'm pretty sure he has Luke Skywalker hands. Like, I think he's got robotic hands because why doesn't he get nerve damage? Yes, he finished 15 laps down, but he finished.
So we're saying it's more like carpal tunnel, is what you're saying.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And-
also feel like it's time to talk about how irresponsible Aston Martin is with their drivers, because there was a little nugget in DTS where they were like, yeah, and Lance has had issues ever since coming back so early. It's like, oh, you're just going to very casually drop that in the show that he's had issues ever since, what was that, 2 seasons ago? And he's still having issues? Like,
Well, you got to make him a sympathetic figure somehow.
right, of course, but like, look at the irresponsibility of saying that out loud. And then you
My
can't even
hands
get
hurt,
complete.
guys.
Hey,
And then you
look,
can't even complete the race with either of your driver. Like, Aston Martin is truly a mess right now, and I love to see it.
Throughout the course of history, many a powerful father has been willing to sacrifice his son. Lawrence Stroll is only the latest.
Touche. Real quick, note on the newest team in Formula One, Cadillac. Good friend of the podcast.
Can't
old
hang on
buddy
to the
from
mirrors.
college- No, our old buddy from college, Austin Coley, is getting into F1 because Nick told him to watch F1 how many years ago?
6.
Yeah, so he's finally getting into F1.
Well, he
He's like,
spent a little bit of background here. A friend of the show, longtime friend since kindergarten for me, for you since college. he is a master of trolling in one way or another, and one of the funniest, most endearing ways possible. Just the jokes he'll slide into your group chat, you can't help but laugh at him. It might piss you off, but you can't help but laugh at him. And he has spent the last 5 years trolling me about my passion for Formula One. He will call it Euro trash and a number of other things just to piss me off, not because he means any of it. And then he started to shift toward being like a fake fan. And it got to the point where FP1 starts on Thursday, and he sends in the group, Shook, are you excited for Australia? And I was like,
and now we have an F1 101 group chat because
caught
we
me
are
on the
explaining the sport to him.
But he caught me at the wrong time of the day because I was like, Coley, it's just practice. Why don't you fuck off already?
Oh, that sounds like the vibe Nick brought to us
It is.
starting
It
the
is.
podcast.
I am carrying this vibe. And he responds, no, I'm seriously into it. And I was like, I don't believe you. I'm not taking the bait, but if you are into it, welcome aboard. And then the F1 101 chat was born. And now I have one extra group chat.
He's into it, man. We were texting the entire race, watching this, and he wants to be a Cadillac fan. I'm like, dude, go for it. Why not? Like, let's support Caddy. Two really good drivers, accomplished drivers. They're gonna suck. Like, they are just going to suck. And he's like, what would a good result for Cadillac be? And I just texted back, finishing the race.
Yeah.
Which one of their cars did. Valtteri Bottas had some engine troubles, but one of their cars, Checo Perez, he finished the race. So, golf clap for Cadillac. I'm sure. Hey, next step, getting both cars to finish the race, and we go from there.
It's the little things, Nick, you're meaning to tell me you have other group chats?
Oh,
We're not your only group chat?
So many, Katie. I get
I hate
around.
group chats.
I get around. Yeah, I don't largely love group chats. You two, I like this group chat.
we
Most
are fine.
others,
There's
Not for
an
me.
occasion where I look down and I have like 20 messages, and I open my messages and it just says Gridiron Podcast. I'm like, oh my god, they're going off on something. Let's see what this is.
Off the top of my head, I believe I have 8 or 9 group chats.
Because you guys, by the
I'd
way,
be fired into the sun.
you are really quick to respond to texts sometimes, and like I
Sometimes.
can't even get a word off.
You just,
I don't know
sounds
how
like
to
a
take
skill
that.
issue, Sean.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Get-
maybe you need to be a big dog and get back
Yeah.
right away.
Get good, bro. Get
Get good, bro.
I don't have that dog in me like Lance Stroll has in him.
For exactly
Just
one
permanent
race.
nerve damage.
In his wrist. He was only in his wrist.
All right, let's do. That's enough for Australia, right? We're going on 45 minutes here. Let's do.
I want to say one thing.
No, you don't. We're going to.
Yes, I do.
China
Yes,
now.
I do.
No,
I wanna say
you
one-
don't, Nick.
I want to say
TikTok.
one damn thing. When Max
That was
pulled
it.
to within a second of Lando, I caught myself going, oh, he's within a second. He's going to pull it off. Thinking
He's
that
got
DRS
DRS.
existed. And then I was reminded that it didn't, and then he just fell off and disappeared into the nether regions of the F1 race. At which point I was very disappointed
Not the
by the
nether
new
regions.
regs. Not the nether regions. The abyss, the darkness, the place where the sun don't shine. That's all I had to say.
I mean, that was still a great drive from Max going from P20 to P6 because
Driver of the
freaking
day.
Max Verstappen. Moving on to race number 2 because we're already going to Shanghai, the Chinese Grand Prix. God dang it!
All right, we need a supercut of this now. It's official. It's been like
The
5
Grand
times.
Prix.
A Grand Prix.
This.
Yeehaw, going to the Grand Prix.
I even sent to our group
guys,
chat, I
look.
sent a voice note saying, this is my impression of Zach Brown saying Grand Prix. Grand Prix. And then
I'm going-
you haven't stopped saying it.
I'm going to go wash my mouth out with soap as soon as we are done here.
I mean, I could see a little, like, if you told me that Zach Brown and Sean Barry were distant cousins, I wouldn't
That's
be
such an offensive
surprised.
thing to say, Nick. Oh my
That's-
God.
I'm choosing a vulnerable time to say it, too.
We've
I'm
been
really
friends
piling
for-
on.
To be
What?
so mean to one of your best
We've-
friends?
We've been friends for 16 years going on
Let's
here.
go. Here comes the guilt trip. Let's go.
And I think our friendship just ended, man. I think our friendship just ended because you compared me to Zach Brown.
Under the soft glow of a green light behind him, he lost one of his closest friends. Ah, what a tragic story.
Well, that's it for the
2026.
Gridiron podcast, not as the episode, but as a show. We've really enjoyed all of you guys tuning in. These two now hate each other. So
What
this will
happened in
be
NFL
the end.
free agency? Nobody knows. But are we like, what is it, Mike and Mike in the morning? Both co-hosts hate each other by the end of it. All right.
Did they really?
They did. That's part of why the show ended. They hated each other.
That was my grandma's favorite. She would watch them on TV. It was her favorite show.
It was a good show.
It was a good show. All right, let's do race predictions for the Chinese Grand Prix. Come on, beat it back into me. Beat it back into me.
Careful what you wish for.
Jesus Christ.
All right, Katie, chivalry's not dead. Go for it.
P1. I kind of forgot that we were also previewing this show, or this next race. P1, Kimi Antonelli.
Ah.
Race win. P2, Max Verstappen.
Oh.
Because why not? And then P3, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh.
Because something happens to George, maybe.
Something
I don't
happens to
know.
George?
I hadn't really thought about this until now, but I feel so good about this.
You know
All
what?
right.
I'm glad you're honest about not
She
thinking
feels
about this until
so
now.
good about it. Nick,
P1, George Russell, second straight win. I'm a front runner. P2, Charles Leclerc. I really wanted to say Lewis Hamilton, but I also, like Katie, have not thought about this until this moment. P3, Kimi Antonelli, because I don't have faith in any other car other than Mercedes at this point. But I do think the Ferrari may not mess it up as badly.
I love how Nick is the only one on this podcast, and he continuously does that, where he goes from P1 to P3 when everyone knows you're supposed to count down. From
Katie
3, 2,
just
1.
did it.
I know, I blew it. I started at P1.
I was following
Blame
the
this on me.
format. Sean, not an active
P3.
listener.
P3, Lewis Hamilton.
Great.
P2,
Love this.
Charles Leclerc. P1, George Russell.
Love it.
Yay.
Yeah,
Love
they
it.
got a rocket ship.
That was-
I
yeah.
think Lewis is adapting well to that Ferrari. I think he's gonna give Charles a run for his money this year. We'll see what happens, but right now that Mercedes is so much faster than everyone else. I think last year, by the end of last year, in qualifying, there was like a 1.2 second gap separating like the McLarens and the Red Bulls from the Alpines, and now there is like a 5 to 6 second gap per lap separating Mercedes from Cadillac. So that's horrible to see as well. Katie, you were spot on with your predictions last week, saying there would be a lot of retirements because of the new regs. You were spot freaking on.
She knows
Also,
wheel, baby. Not all the
Can-
time, just once in a while.
she knows wheel. She's a real wheel knower.
Wheel knower.
She spins.
Tell me you don't know wheel. Tell me you don't know wheel.
Rims, tires, the whole kit and caboodle.
Do you
shout
guys think
to-
Lewis is wistfully looking at his ex team right now, romanticizing
Oh, yeah.
them?
Oh,
Yes.
of course. Although he's
Even
in the
I
running.
am as a Lewis fan right now.
He's in the running though. Like if they don't mess up strategy, this is the point I wanted to make.
That's
like,
a huge
near the
if
top of the
for
show.
Ferrari.
But if they didn't mess up strategy, I think it's a much closer finish. And maybe we're talking about somebody other than George winning. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure I want to see the Ferrari group chat because Lewis is probably like saying something in it, and Charles just sends him that meme of the what's that show Westworld where it's about to be
Oh,
hung.
yeah.
It's like, oh, first time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna send the meme of, I ain't reading all that. Sorry that happened to you.
No.
Or happy for you.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
We're
That is
James-
such a big if, though. What did Max say? He's like, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike or something.
No, he said if my mother
My
had
mom had
balls, she'd be
balls,
my dad.
And then Mike Tomlin
There was
followed
another
it up
one
with,
about wheels
if
and a
my
bike, I
uncle-
think. But
If my
Wheel
aunt had
knower.
my uncle's parts, or my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah.
All right.
anyways, yeah, that is a really big if with Ferrari strategy, Nick.
It is. Let's switch gears now
One can
to
drink.
the NFL. Free agency frenzy. Silly season in the NFL is
Yeah.
really silly so far. Started on Monday at exactly 12:01. Deals were announced after supposedly you were only allowed to contact people at noon on Monday anyway.
There was
but
no tampering.
there was absolutely no tampering before
I
the
mean, it
legal
is legal.
tampering window opened.
Oxymoron. Contradiction.
I know.
I think I'm going to
Um,
choose this. Actually, excuse me. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is where I'm going to leave.
Bye, Nick.
Nick
It's
is
been
tired
real.
of talking of the NFL. He's just like
Ah,
scooting.
just kidding.
What do we want to talk
God
about
is
first?
good, Nick.
Do we want to do the Max Crosby drama first? I feel like
Yeah.
we have to. So last week on Friday, the Ravens announced they are trading for Max Crosby from the Raiders. The Raiders are getting 2 first-round draft picks for Max Crosby. And everyone's like, whoa! The Ravens. You have a serious pass rusher again. That defense is going to be nasty. You know, now they're one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
Joe Burrow is shuddering somewhere.
I know. Somewhere,
Oh, the
Joe Burrow
memes.
can just feel
Oh, the
a
memes.
bone
The
breaking.
memes were everywhere.
Right. And then last night, Tuesday, because we're recording on a Wednesday, March 11th, whoops-a-daisies, the Ravens are backing out of the trade with Max Crosby. The Ravens
They said,
announced,
just kidding. Got
just
you
kidding.
good.
Psych, we want our 2 number ones back. I want my picks back. All of them. And I want David G.D. Putney just because I feel like it.
I want my family back. Give me back my family.
So,
You pancake
yes,
eating what?
you pancake-eating MFer. And I want David God dang Putney just because I feel like it. Not David Putney.
Kevin Costner, greatest GM ever.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Ravens back out of the deal because they fly Max Crosby out to Baltimore. He's meeting with Jesse Minter, the new head coach in Baltimore. He's meeting with coaches, does his physicals, meeting with doctors because, again, he had surgery, pretty severe injury.
What was it,
And
January that he had surgery?
yeah, he had surgery after the season.
It wasn't that severe. It's just a meniscus.
That's a severe injury. You tear a
I mean,
meniscus.
it's not an ACL.
But
he
anyway.
did get a repair, not a trim, which is the longer road to recovery.
But I digest. So anyway, he gets physical with the Ravens. They bring in 5 doctors or something like that just to confer. And these 5 doctors
Smells
are like,
fishy.
actually, like he'll be good this year, but like in a couple of years, he's not going to be so good. So the Ravens were like, well,
Gee.
because the league year doesn't start until Wednesday, and we can't officially make this trade official until Wednesday, we out. Give us our picks back and David Putney. But we out. So now they have to go to Max Crosby and awkwardly tell him, hey, Max, you haven't bought a house yet, have you, buddy? You haven't signed that lease yet, have you? Okay. So here they just quietly slide him.
I was gonna say it's a very hushed
Here's
tone. He goes to
here's-
HR.
Here's a one-way ticket. Got a ride for you out front to BWI. Yeah.
And he's like, what? I
It's,
changed my profile photo already.
it's-
to a
it's
photo
not-
of me and a Ravens.
it's
Like
not
they're already
us.
printing merch. What the hell?
It's not us, it's you, and you're still a Raider. So
They don't really
yeah.
want you either, but you're not a Raven.
But you're definitely not a Raven. All hell breaks loose. Max Crosby's not going to be a Raven. Okay. Then they announce, actually, we're signing Trey Hendrickson. Okay, so okay, the Ravens get
Getting
Trey
fishier.
Hendrickson. Today, the Ravens general manager comes out and says, yeah, it's unfortunate. We had to back out of the trade, this, and that, whatever. The plan was Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby.
We wanted both. The hell outta here.
Interesting.
Get the
I
hell
mean,
outta here.
It just, as the world turns, days of our Ravens right now. What has this been like just in the NFL media sphere, Nick?
Everybody's
Messy
calling
ass
bullshit on the
bitches.
Ravens, and saying that they had buyer's remorse and realized they could get Trey Hendrickson for less of a commitment of capital because they just had to sign him and not trade 2 first-round picks for him. A franchise that has never traded first-round picks for a veteran in its history, which dates back to 1996 when the city of Baltimore stole the Browns from Cleveland, but that's neither here nor there. And I just think that ultimately, yeah, you can point to the knee and everything, but like the knee was not a surprise to anybody. Like,
No.
You didn't call Raiders GM John Spytek and negotiate a trade and be willing to give up 2 first-round picks and be like, oh, wait, what do you mean he's coming off of an injury? A meniscus repair? What? Oh, I didn't realize that only 8 weeks out from surgery might not be a good time for a physical. Oh,
Imagine
but our
that.
5 doctors took a deep, long look at that knee, and they convened, and they came to the conclusion like a jury of 12 that they could not proceed with this trade. Not because of this year, but because the long term is too much of a risk, which honestly, fair. But I just call bullshit that wasn't why they did this.
100.
I think, have you, either of you, ever made an impulse buy sober or intoxicated and then woken up the next day or 2 days later or a week later and looked at what you'd spent that money on and thought, you know what, maybe I didn't need this?
Frequently.
Frequently.
I once
And
bought a-
recently.
I once bought a hockey jersey off a dude's bag at a club. I
Oh,
literally,
hell
I said,
yeah.
I said, how much do you want for the jersey? And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, man. And he was like, $70. I'm like, all right. And I went to the ATM and I pulled out like $70 and I gave it
So
to
did he
him.
walk
Can
out
we guess
shirtless?
what jersey it was?
Sure.
Is it Pittsburgh Penguins?
It is not. It is not. It is not a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey. No.
Did you say hockey jersey or just
It
jersey?
is a hockey jersey. Yeah.
Nick, this is your time to shine, our hockey guy on the pod.
I will give you a hint. I'll narrow it down. This guy's a Hall of Famer.
I'm gonna go take a
And-
water break.
This team played north of the border.
Would it be Habs?
No. Nordiques.
Ooh,
I
love
literally,
that.
this guy's wearing like a baby blue Forsberg
Hell yeah.
Nordiques jersey,
Wait,
and I was like,
the Peter Forsberg?
yes.
Did
I
you
got
just
something
Google
right.
Forsberg, Nick?
No, I knew that. I knew that because I played the NHL video game when I was 12.
But yeah, like again, when I woke up the next morning and I saw a Peter Forsberg jersey on my floor, I was like, probably shouldn't have just spent $70.
How many,
That's good value. $70?
How
Yeah.
many drinks, Sean? How many drinks?
Oh, that night a lot, a lot. It's
Are
a
we
funny
talking
story
double
though.
digits?
But you're talking about buyers.
Yeah, what are we talking?
Did he walk out shirtless? I need more details.
No, he had a shirt on.
Did you
underneath.
exchange shirts?
No.
Oh,
No.
jersey swap in the club.
Jersey
Let's
swap.
go.
Like the two dudes in Vegas with their
Yes.
shirts?
No, he did not. He had a t-shirt on underneath. But yes, that's my buyer's remorse story.
Oh, see,
I've-
that I look
I've
at that as
since-
only a success story. I think that $70, what a great buy.
I've since worn it like 2 times. So.
And that's why there's buyer's remorse. I have
That's
that
buyer's
with memorabilia like that too.
But yes,
I just
Max
think
Crosby was the Ravens' Nordiques jersey. But at this point, they hadn't exchanged goods yet, so they could still back out.
Nobody's
this is
taking their tops
why-
off.
this is why legal tampering, oxymoron, is a kind of a dumb thing. But here's the thing. Trades can be agreed upon before legal tampering. Like it could have been agreed upon a month ago and just doesn't process until the start of the new league year. This was unique in that there were really no like foreseeable reasons for the trade to fall through unless the guy walked in missing a leg. Like this is Max Crosby. You know he's coming off of a knee surgery. You know what he is. You know he's 29. You know that the 30-year-old wall doesn't exist for edge rushers, but you know that you're only going to
You
get
know he's
maybe
a dog.
3 years out of him, but he's a freaking animal, and you're trying to go win a Super Bowl. All of it made sense. It was a lot to pay. It was more than any other team was willing to pay, including the Dallas Cowboys. And after the dust settled with the initial reaction to the trade, the big shocker arrives in that they decided to pull out. And the funniest part about it was the way the Raiders worded it when the news became visible and apparent to them. The Baltimore Ravens have pulled out of the Max Crosby trade.
They literally just called it. They called a spade
Period.
a spade.
And I'm like, oh, the salt. I can feel it through the screen of my phone.
And
oh,
then
yeah.
today, the Raiders had Max Crosby's surgeon release a statement saying, like, yo, I did the surgery.
Dr.
He's
Neil
on track.
Illitrach. Yep.
Like
I
he's
missed
literally
that.
like 1 week off a crutch. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, he's fine. Or yeah.
Still smelly. Still
So,
fishy.
This is all happening. I guess the good news is it gives teams like the Cowboys, the Bears, the Buccaneers a second shot at
Or-
I
Max
thought I read the
Crosby.
Cowboys were out.
They are out. And
They're out.
Yeah.
it's kind of like driving a car off of a lot. As soon as you drive it off, it depreciates in value. Are the Raiders even going to be interested in a trade now? Look, what's the most intoxicating, enticing element when it comes to pursuing something? It's the fact that you can't have it, but you want it. And then you saw a team have it and reject it, and suddenly you don't want it anymore because they didn't want it. So I
will
think that he
say-
ends up staying with the Raiders.
I will say, as a
Interesting.
Steelers fan, when I found out that the Ravens were getting Max Crosby, I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Finding out they're getting Trey Hendrickson doesn't scare me as much because they've already played
how about this?
Trey Hendrickson twice a year for the past couple of years anyway.
So the Ravens lost a lot of players in free agency. A lot of them followed John
Yes.
Harbaugh to New York. Tyler Linderbaum went to the Raiders on a massive contract that was
They
$9
played
million
this
more
whole
per
free
year.
agency period under the assumption that they were going to have Max Crosby and pay him, and that's how they operated these free agency decisions.
Yes,
That's
which
bad
is
business.
so. And I think that part of that was, oh God, we just lost all these players. We need that draft capital more than I think we realized, and we're going to need it next year too. We can't afford to make this trade anymore because we have too many holes to fill elsewhere. That's how free agency goes, man. It's like a meat market. It's a race to get X amount of guys, but it's also a real-time assembly of a roster and while vetting your available options. How can you get better here and there? Can you outbid this team for that? Once they lost Linderbaum, I think their plans started to fall apart. And Hendrickson slides into the picture, who, by the way, had a very weird approach to his own free agency, where it was like he essentially was like holding out on signing with anybody. Oh, multiple offers on the table, but he's reevaluating and he'll make an official decision tomorrow. Who needs an official decision? This is not signing day in high school to college football, guys. It's free agency. This is not how this operates. So all of this stinks, and I don't care what Eric DeCosta said. I wrote about it. I read through the quotes. I listened to the press. Doesn't matter. This smells, and if I was an NFL team looking to do business and the Ravens called me, I would think twice about making an agreement with them after this.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Nick.
It is
I mean,
fair.
yeah, that's a really good point. The other, I mean, there's been a lot of. We're not going to break down every free agent that is signed and wherever they've signed. There's
Should we
too
talk
many to
about
count
Mike
right
Evans?
now. But there is one that we do have to talk about because it's the one that reverberated perhaps the most until this Max Crosby debacle and then Trey Hendrickson
As
signing
we
with the Baltimore Ravens. Yes.
on,
Mike
we
Evans.
remember all the times we've spent together.
Mike
And as our
Evans
lives-
is a San Francisco 49er.
Trading one shade of red for another. And one metallic shade
Don't
for
cry,
another.
Buccaneers fans, because it's over.
Katie,
Smile because it happened.
Still mind me over here.
Katie's pissed about Mike Evans.
It's the magnetic fields coming.
Substation.
Get to that second. Okay,
I did a
so
podcast outside of it.
that just sent our Monday here in Tampa into a complete tailspin. I mean, we led every newscast with the fact that Mike Evans, not just sportscast, we led every newscast with the fact that Mike Evans was leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, heading to the San Francisco 49ers to sign a 3-year deal from one bay to another. I kind of thought it was going to happen. I was probably I was probably in the minority of not just sports media in Tampa, but just like, you know, fans were like, "Oh, he's coming back." We've seen this song and dance before. No, you haven't. Buccaneers have never let him get to free agency. They've always like had a deal in place ready to go. Even 2 years ago, they got him before he reached free agency. Like the longer when his agent came out with a statement and said Mike is going to test free agency, oh, he's still open to returning to the Buccaneers. I'm thinking, you don't say that unless you know you're going. And I think there's the video that my buddy Kyle Berger, I'm not going to say where he works because he's a competitor, but he had that video of Mike Evans walking out on that Thursday night game screaming 3rd and 28 after the Bucs lost with a 28-14 lead in the fourth quarter
What
against the
happened
Atlanta
on
Falcons.
3rd and 28, Sean? What happened?
Just an implosion. It wasn't even 3rd and 28. It was the implosion of the entire second half of the season. You could tell that like cracks were starting to form. And it wasn't about money in the end for Mike Evans because he turned down better money, and I'm sure the Bucs offered him better money than the 49ers. But again, his agent, Derek Guilfoyle, released a statement, very long statement, but in like the 5th paragraph, you know, it said Mike Evans wants to go to an offensive system, is excited to go to an offensive system, and play for an offense that challenges defenses. I mean, my God. That's not saying something without saying something. That is shouting from the mountaintops without shouting from the mountaintops.
Especially because
into
think
my
about where
veins.
we were 5-6 weeks into last season when we had Baker in the MVP conversation and we were talking about how both of you could be at the Super Bowl because that's how good the Bucs were looking. That's surprising. I honestly thought that it would have been a Chris Godwin house situation where you take a bit less money but you do want to stay there. I was one of the ones that was really shocked that he's leaving.
Okay.
But that's a very shocking thing to hear because think about how much we were talking about that offense specifically last year with Emeka Ibuka, and they just had like an embarrassment of riches on offense. It felt like Baker was playing out of his mind. That's a really big statement to make.
Yep. Let's consider a couple
Wow.
of factors here. Okay, so the Buccaneers have lost each of their last two offensive coordinators entering 2025 to head coaching jobs. That was Dave Canales to Carolina, Liam Cohen to the Jaguars. Two guys who got the jobs because they orchestrated good offenses. They replaced him with Josh Grizzard, who was the talk of the town for the first month and a half, and also because he's from Lizard Lick, North Carolina. And who doesn't
That's
like
a
saying
place?
Lizard Lick? Yes.
Lizard Lick.
Yeah, there's also a place called Rifle in Arizona. So
Jesus.
America, baby.
All right,
And
chill out,
then-
Miss Cooteneys.
We
Yeah,
have
Kootenays.
dildo Newfoundland up here, so I can't say.
We've got intercourse, Pennsylvania.
God.
Ah,
What would you call yourself as a member of that town? Intercourser? Anyways, go on. Sorry.
there are many things that I am not going to say right now. And for the first 6 weeks, he was the guy, right? And then the offense went off a cliff. Baker got hurt. Mike Evans missed a good portion of the season. Baker lost the guy that he would just chuck it up to on third and got to have it.
Yeah.
And they never recovered, and we know that they collapsed from there. And as Sean just alluded to, it didn't. They never figured it out again. They lost the division on a tiebreaker despite winning in Week 18. That situation arguably got worse this offseason because Josh Grizzard moved on to the Philadelphia Eagles. And who did they replace him with?
Zach
The offense-
Robinson.
The offensive coordinator who I was firmly confident in would lose his job this offseason more than any in the NFL. Well,
More than there's a
second
tough
most-
competition there.
Kevin Patullo was number
Yeah.
one on that list in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, but Zach Robinson was right behind him. Where did Zach Robinson coach before he went to the Buccaneers, Sean?
The Atlanta Falcons, where
What division are the Falcons in, Sean?
the NFC South.
What division are the Buccaneers in, Sean?
I believe it's the NFC South.
You think Mike Evans might have some friends in Atlanta who called him and said, probably don't want to play for that guy?
It's possible.
I don't think it was a situation he wanted to come back to, not to mention Todd Bowles not being able to get the Buccaneers past their initial successes repeatedly over the last few years. I don't think it has really much to do with Baker as much as it does to with the organization where they stand
Yeah.
in Tampa right now.
Here's what I think, and again, I haven't talked to Mike Evans. I haven't talked to anybody about this really, but like just from the outside looking in, a lot of people were like, was his relationship with Baker not good? No, I think it was fine. You know, but I don't think it really had as much to do with Baker because you're not going to trade Baker Mayfield for Brock Purdy, which two sides of the same coin, really.
I don't think this has anything to do with Brock Purdy either. Good
Exactly.
quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it
No,
has to do with the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think Mike Evans was like, I don't want another year playing with Baker Mayfield because they were clicking last year. They've been clicking the last 3 years when they've both been healthy on the field at the same time. But yeah, I think it had a lot to do with Todd Bowles, and I think it had a lot to do with the
And Kyle
direction.
Shanahan on the opposite end of that coin. Like,
Exactly.
I'd rather be in a
If you-
Shanahan system.
If you are an offensive player, would you rather play for Todd Bowles and Zach Robinson, whose biggest weapon last year was Bijan Robinson? Like, when that
Who he
offense was
just went
Which
away
all
from.
respect to Bijan.
Yeah, exactly.
He
When
went
that
away
offense
from,
was
like, for
clicking in Atlanta
significant-
last year, it was because Bijan Robinson, not Zach Robinson.
And they
Yeah.
finished where they finished because they spent multiple games just completely going away from him, which was why I thought Robinson was going to lose his job.
So, yes, if you're Mike Evans and you see, oh, do I want to play for Todd Bowles or do I want to play for Kyle Shanahan? The answer is absolutely Kyle Shanahan.
Do I want to be a number one receiver for a 49ers team that didn't have one and still managed to make it to the freaking divisional round of the playoffs? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes a ton of sense football-wise. It also reflects very poorly on the Buccaneers and where they currently stand.
It does.
The
Because-
disrespect to Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, Nick.
Sorry,
And Brandon
Ayuk removed himself from that team to the
Yeah,
point
that
where
there's
the
a
49ers, they were like, he just stopped coming. We don't know what to say. He's definitely not going to be on our team anymore.
And then he's going 300 miles per hour past the stadium.
yeah.
Truly one of the craziest moments of the season was that video of him just going by.
And I will say too, we were doing like breaking news coverage online and everything. We were talking to Bucks fans, and I asked this one guy who runs a tailgate, and I was like, hey man, like, did you think this was a possibility? Like, you knew he was going to test free agency. Did you think 1 hour into free agency he was going to be signing? And he's like, no, I didn't. Like, fans were like walking around in a daze because like that was someone they never truly thought would leave, and it has everyone who wears either creamsicle or pewter and red looking now at Todd Bowles and Jason Light and the Glazer family going, okay, what are you going to do now? Mike Evans is gone. Arguably your greatest player ever, definitely your greatest offensive player ever is gone. Trey Hendrickson is in Baltimore. You didn't win the Max Crosby deal. You could go try and get him now. What are we doing here? Like, fans are kind of pissed.
I don't think they're going to have a great year. The disrespect of Mike Alstott. Work done.
But hey,
Keyshawn
Kenneth
Jackson
Gainwell is a Buccaneer, baby.
Hey, that was a good
still have
addition.
Ibuka.
Great signing.
And you got
That's a great
Ibuka.
signing.
You got I'm blanking.
Jalen
Tez
Chris
Johnson,
Godwin,
Jalen
Tez
McMillan.
Tez Johnson,
Yeah.
re-signed K.
I was stuck on Tez. I wanted to call him
Yeah.
Tez
The problem
Walker.
is the defense.
Kent
though.
State.
The problem is the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
they're going to need
the
to fix some
defensive
stuff there.
minded
But yes,
coach.
Mike
I was
Evans,
just about to
the
say,
San
and you have
49ers.
Todd Bowles as your defensive-minded head coach. That you took it right out of my mouth.
That's gonna
Yes.
go very well.
A lot of fans are like, hey, the decision to keep Todd Bowles probably cost us Mike Evans. And I'm like, probably. Maybe not, but probably.
Yep.
Doesn't help.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, I can't say that for sure, but yeah, you're right, Katie. Definitely didn't help.
Not great, Bob.
Not great,
Not great,
Bob.
All right, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this one. Anything else on free agency? Or you guys want to get out of here?
I mean,
Let's
there's
get
so
outta
much,
here.
but I just don't want to unpack any of it at this point. Oh, shout out to the
Nick.
Steelers, man. Making some
yeah.
good moves.
Oh yeah, we got
Love
Michael
that for you, Sean
Pittman.
and Yinzer Bob.
Yeah, we'll have to have Yinzer Bob on the show here sometime soon. Yeah, Steelers making some good moves. I like it. We don't have
Yinzer
a
Bob,
right side of an offensive line at the moment, so
Yeah, but you have time, and Yinzer
Yeah.
Bob has time because Yinzer Bob doesn't know where Sean works yet.
no,
That's
no,
right.
He's not. He has not. Only one.
Cleaning lady does. Yinzer Bob does not.
I heard her out there tonight. She didn't poke her head in.
Can I make one quick note as a very sad Seahawks fan? Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
Bye
sorry.
bye, K9.
Kenneth Walker could have gone anywhere.
And
went
where
to
did
the
he go?
Evil
And I
Empire.
went to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I hated that. And I still hate it. And even a division rival might have felt a little better. You know? It was just one of those situations of like, oh, okay.
You know
No.
what? I also
Their one
don't-
really big issue that they have, they have no one at running back. I'm like, oh, no, you have Kenneth Walker. Sick. Great.
I don't fault him though, because in Kenneth Walker's mind,
Sick.
you're like, oh yeah, you guys
Sick.
like Zach Charbonnet so much. Fine, he can be your feature back from now on.
Which I do love
Coming-
Zach
coming
Charbonnet,
off
to be
an
clear.
ACL.
But he's coming off the injury, so you don't know what that's going to look like. But
Yikes.
how fun was it having like a 1A, 1B on a team that wins you the Super Bowl?
Ask the Lions that because they didn't even win the Super Bowl, and they lost one half of their 1A, 1B too.
Yeah, they did.
And then they went and got Isaiah Pacheco.
Downgrade.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. From Montgomery, yeah. Absolutely.
Anyways, that's all
You know
for
what's
me,
not a
thanks.
downgrade? The Gridiron Podcast. Yeah.
We only upgrade.
That is
and you know who could use an
subjective.
upgrade? McLaren. And
the
Williams.
FIA.
And those cars in general. We'll see you next week for episode 98, the Connor Bedard episode of the Gridiron Podcast.
Nice.
Could have been the Phil Taylor episode. But okay. Actually,
We're going
yeah.
Connor Bedard, young star in the NHL. This was the Connor McDavid episode of the
Yeah.
Gridiron Podcast. How did I not start off with that? We'll be back next week to break down what happened in Shanghai over the weekend in Formula One and whatever else happened in the world of NFL free agency. Until next time, be good, be safe, have fun. As always, live life in the fast lane.
Can't promise that, but good night, Canada.
Be safe. Do not be good. Good night, Canada.
Be feral.
Exactly.
All right.